At night, something strange happens to the human mind. During the day, our thoughts are buried beneath movement, conversation, notifications, and noise. The modern world keeps the brain occupied almost every second. But when darkness arrives, everything changes. The room becomes quieter, the world slows down, and for the first time all day, the mind is left alone with itself. For many people, this is when overthinking begins. Memories return without warning. Small problems suddenly feel larger, regrets become louder, and questions we ignored during the day begin circling endlessly in the dark. Why does this happen? Why do humans seem so vulnerable to their own thoughts at night? The answer may lie far deeper than most people realize, because overthinking at night is not simply a bad habit. In many ways, it is ancient. A behavior shaped by evolution, survival, fear, and the strange design of the human brain itself. Long before cities, screens, and artificial light, nighttime represented danger. For early humans, darkness meant vulnerability. Predators moved unseen through forests, temperatures dropped, visibility disappeared. The safety of daylight was gone, and the brain had to become more alert in order to survive. Scientists believe the human nervous system evolved to treat nighttime with caution. Even today, the brain behaves differently after sunset. Melatonin begins to rise, cortisol slowly changes, the body becomes physically tired, while the mind often becomes more internally focused. And without distractions, the brain begins doing what it was designed to do: search for problems. From an evolutionary perspective, this made perfect sense. Humans who constantly anticipated danger were more likely to survive. The people who replayed mistakes, who worried about sounds outside the campfire, who imagined worst-case scenarios, were often the ones who stayed alive long enough to pass on their genes. Overthinking may once have been useful, but the modern world changed faster than the human brain could adapt. Today, most people are physically safe at night, yet the brain still reacts as though danger could be nearby. Except now, instead of predators, the threats are psychological: failure, loneliness, uncertainty, embarrassment, rejection, purpose. And unlike ancient dangers, modern problems rarely have immediate solutions, so the brain loops endlessly, trying to solve things that cannot be solved in a single night. At the same time, nighttime removes many of the distractions that normally protect us from our own thoughts. During the day, the human mind is constantly stimulated. Phones vibrate, people talk, music plays, screens glow endlessly. The modern world rarely allows silence anymore, but at night, stimulation fades. And in the silence, many people meet themselves honestly for the first time all day. This is partly why emotions often feel stronger after dark. Research in neuroscience suggests that emotional regulation becomes more difficult when people are tired. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic and emotional control, becomes less effective during fatigue. Meanwhile, emotional centers of the brain remain highly active. In simple terms, the brain becomes more emotional and less rational late at night. This is why problems that seem manageable during the day can suddenly feel overwhelming at 2 a.m. A text message feels deeper. The future feels heavier. A mistake feels permanent. Darkness changes perception, but there may also be something deeply human about these moments. Throughout history, nighttime has always been connected to reflection. People sat around fires looking at stars. Ancient philosophers wrote during candlelight. Writers, artists, and thinkers often described the night as a place where hidden thoughts emerge. Because when the world becomes quiet, the mind finally has room to speak, and in moderation, this ability is not necessarily bad. Reflection is deeply connected to human consciousness. The same mind that creates anxiety also creates art, philosophy, ambition, love, and meaning. The human brain is powerful, precisely because it never fully stops searching. Searching for answers, searching for safety, searching for connection, searching for purpose. And perhaps this is why nighttime thinking feels so emotional. In darkness, people are reminded of themselves. Without the distractions of modern life, many begin confronting questions they avoid during the day. Am I happy? Am I wasting time? And am I alone? Am I becoming the person I wanted to become? These are not small questions, and the human brain struggles to ignore them forever. Modern technology has made this even more complicated. For most of human history, nighttime forced people into stillness. But today, artificial light and endless stimulation keep the brain awake far beyond its natural rhythms. Phones flood the brain with dopamine. Social media creates endless comparison. Infinite information prevents mental rest. The brain never fully disconnects. And when stimulation finally ends, the accumulated thoughts of an entire day often arrive all at once. This may explain why so many people feel mentally exhausted despite spending most of their lives physically comfortable. The human brain evolved for movement, nature, tribe, uncertainty, and survival. Instead, modern humans spend enormous amounts of time indoors, isolated, overstimulated, and mentally fragmented. And at night, the brain tries to process it all. But maybe overthinking at night reveals something deeper about being human, because beneath the anxiety, there is awareness. Awareness of time passing. Awareness that life is limited. Awareness that someday, every moment we experience now will become a memory. Nighttime slows the world down enough for people to feel the weight of existence itself. And while uncomfortable, this awareness can also create growth. Some of humanity's greatest changes begin during moments of reflection. A person decides to change their life, to leave a toxic environment, to reconnect with someone they love, to become healthier, to finally move forward. These thoughts often begin quietly, late at night, alone. Perhaps this is why so many people secretly love the nighttime despite the overthinking it brings. Because at night, people are finally separated from performance. There are no expectations, no social roles, no pressure to appear productive, only thoughts, only memories, only the quiet awareness of being alive. And in a strange way, many humans spend their entire lives trying to avoid this silence. The modern world offers endless distraction precisely because silence forces reflection. But reflection is where change often begins. Some of the most important decisions a person will ever make are not made during loud moments. They happen quietly, late at night, alone with their thoughts. And maybe that is why the night feels so emotional. Because beneath all the anxiety and overthinking, the human mind is searching for meaning. So perhaps the goal is not to completely eliminate overthinking. Perhaps the goal is learning when to listen and when to let go, because the human mind was never designed to be perfectly silent. It was designed to imagine, to question, to remember, to fear, to dream. And at night, when the world finally becomes still, we hear it more clearly than ever. And maybe that is what makes us human.